Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Solana. We're going to do a full update right here on Solana. It's one of my favorite majors, not necessarily to trade. I actually don't trade Solana that much, but fundamentally to buy it and in terms of, you know, long-term spot accumulation. I like Solana a lot, so I just wanted to do a full update right here. We'll talk about the fundamentals a little bit more. I've been a pretty big fan about the fundamentals, and not only the network metrics, but also the Solana ETF, which is coming soon, which, by the way, I don't think that Rex Osprey ETF that launched, I think, last week, I don't count that as a real ETF, right? I mean, that's not a real Solana spot ETF. So I think the real ETFs still have to be approved and still have to launch, and that will have a major effect on the price as well. Although the effect of those ETFs can still fall both ways, right? I mean, what we have seen, especially if you remember back when the Ethereum ETF launched about 10-11 months ago, was that the initial price action was very, very bearish, right? And we actually had some, I mean, it was basically only outflows at the start. And you might say, well, how can there be outflows if there weren't any inflows? That's because the grayscale trusts of these coins get converted to an ETF. Right, so then all of a sudden, everybody that had Solana through a private trust has it in the ETF, and they start to offload in more liquid markets. So I'm actually slightly bearish on the short-term prospects of Solana, because Grayscale has a pretty major trust of Solana as well. I think, if I can find that real quick. Yeah, so here you can see Grayscale has a Solana trust, and at this point of time, if we're able to see that with the overview. Can we see that performance? Yeah, they have about $80 million in Solana under management, which is quite a lot, right? I mean, is that going to crash the price to levels never seen before? No, but that could provide that bearish pressure outside of a sell the news effect. So the ETF I'm actually slightly bearish about, but I think other fundamentals for Solana look quite good, right? I mean, if you take a look at the TPL, it's stable. If you take a look at the DEX trading volumes, they're pretty good, even though they're entering summer markets as well. If you take a look at inflows, I think the inflows could be better actually, but I might be wrong about that, and it isn't even loading. But addresses and transactions are increasing and are doing quite good. So fundamentally, I cannot be anything but bullish on the long-term prospects of Solana, which, by the way, I think the ETF for Solana long-term is also going to be great. Now, when we're talking about the technicals, though, we're entering a bit of a minefield, because Solana's price action has been very strange, to say the least, since the 28th of June, right? You can see that the price is basically all over the place, and there's no real balance. I think we are starting to form some sort of a balance right now, mainly between this level right here at 145, and probably a little bit lower down towards like 143. So that's our main support level of this new range of the balance. And then a top right here around 154. I think that is most likely at this point of time. And I think that is also, when we're talking about the 4-hour time frame here, the most likely price action, right? So at this point of time, I think it's most likely that we're going to drop down to that support. For now, I think we're going to hold that. If we get some ETF updates, I think there's a chance that we'll break down below that. For now, I think we're going to be able to hold that. I think we're going to be able to bounce back as well. And I think we will remain stable, because I also don't see any major reason why we would have a bullish breakout. The last time we tried that was the 30th of June with those ETF rumors, and we just rejected very hard at the value area high. So I would say this is most likely for Solana, and then ultimately, unfortunately, longer term, I do think it's more likely we're going to get some sort of a deeper pullback before starting a more long-term uptrend. But I'll keep you updated on that. That's for later. This is at least what you need to know for now. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.